Hi, my name is Nick Houchin, and today we're going to be talking about scripting. Through my own experiences, I'm going to share with you 7 tips for script writing. Tip number 1, keep it brief. Lads and lasses, your script should not be a condensed full-length film. With this in mind, your short should be focused on one idea, no subplots. So, let's say your film is called Chicken Crossing. Sure, it might be fun to include what the farmer's wife is doing with the milkman, but if it doesn't have to do directly with the chicken crossing the road from one side to the other, just leave it for the feature. Tip number 2 is to keep it practical. If you have the budget, the time, and the skills to pull off a plane crash, then go for it. For the rest of us, let's see if we can write that part out. Maybe just use the audio, or maintain a close-up shot of one of the passengers to get the effect of a plane crash. Another aspect of keeping things practical is locations. Do you have too many of them? Can you maybe change your script a little bit to make the scene work in a different location? This was actually a learning experience for me as I was working on the script for the film I'm currently working on. We had multiple clips that we needed for illustration, but we had them spread over like 5 different locations. So the screenwriter and I were able to sit down and do a little readjusting, and we were able to make those scenes work in 2 locations rather than 5. We didn't take away from the story at all, and we saved ourselves a day of shooting, if not more. So tip number 3 is to write memorable characters. This goes for writing any kind of fictional work, and yet this is probably the hardest part about scripting. The best example I can give is using one of my favorite books, The Fault in Our Stars. Yes, I know, I'm a preteen girl, but I fell in love with John Green's masterful penmanship. He also does a spectacular job of writing memorable characters. He writes in little character isms and inside jokes that carry us back to an earlier time in the book. The dialogue he creates is also amazingly lifelike. The prose and dialogue are just beautiful, unique, and memorable. My thoughts are stars I cannot fathom into constellations, or what a slut time is. She screws everybody. Now, most of us aren't John Green, who have the skills to write such incredibly real characters. This takes a lot of time, practice, and experience. And what do we know about experience? The only thing more painful than learning from experience is not learning from experience, you young whippersnapper. Thanks, Nick. Tip number 4 is to engage your audience right away. According to research done using the YouTube Creator Hub, the average click-away time on a video is within the first 15 seconds. If you keep the viewer longer than that, then you probably have them for most of the rest of the video. For most of us watching, our medium will be YouTube. And if you're still here, that means I hopefully engaged you at the beginning of the video. That's a good thing for both of us. 1, because for me that means hopefully my content isn't the worst thing on YouTube, and number 2, hopefully you're gleaning some information from this video. Now, applying this to your script. Make the opening shot memorable, well thought, high quality, engaging. If you're writing a book, you want to hook your audience right away with the first words. If you're publicly speaking, you might want to engage your audience with a thought-provoking question, or maybe a statistic to hook your audience and make them pay attention to what you're saying. So our medium is film, so we want to hook our audience visually. For an example of how not to start a video, let's take a look at one of my early films. Did you want to watch the rest of that video based on an opening? I didn't. So, what can you do? For this, I would look at modern Hollywood. In the age of aesthetic cinema, there's a ton of great openings to look at out there. Drop us right in the middle of the action, or start with a beautiful sunset, or a beautiful sunrise, or maybe an extreme close-up to really jar the audience into, well, what's going on? Okay, I need to watch to figure this out. Make the audience want to stay around to see what happens next. Tip number 5, rewrite. I know we all hate to go back over our own work and change it again and again and again and again and again, but it's really worth it. If you're gonna put all that time and sometimes money into storyboarding, finding actors, hiring a crew, location scouting, equipment, hours or days on set, and then hours and hours and hours and hours in post-production editing, the least you can do is just rewrite your script a couple times. Tip number 6, rewrite. Try to find a way to communicate your story more effectively. This could mean cutting some extra dialogue that really doesn't need to be in there, or maybe it means adding an additional visual element or building more on an emotion that you're trying to bring out, or maybe developing your main character a little better. Can you cut any dialogue? Film is a visual medium, so show it, don't tell it. I struggled with this while working on our short film. Ultimately, I had to go through the script sentence by sentence and ask myself, is this sentence furthering the plot? Is it necessary to convey the story? It helped a ton. Re-examine each scene. What's the purpose of that scene? Does it contribute to the core idea? Is the scene even working? Tip number 7, have a few people read through your script. Make sure these are people that are actually going to give you helpful feedback. Probably not your mom, unless she's a super ninja editing mom like mine. As a note of caution, don't have too many people read your script, because too many opinions can be really confusing. I had 3 people read my script, and that was perfect. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.